On today's show, we hang out with a club looking to make a lot of noise next season, the Kitchener Rangers. Later, we talk to 3 players who have all won a Defenseman of the Year award. Finally, we'll relive the 2014 MasterCard Memorial Cup between the Guelph Storm and the Edmonton Oil Kings.
Welcome to another edition of This is the CHL. I'm your host, Sam Cosentino. This week, our show features a former Memorial Cup winner who's managed to nail down a job in a familiar place. Our CHL alumni gets political with the ministers of defense. And our MasterCard Memorial Cup look back is a classic, pitting a Western Hockey League underdog against an OHL powerhouse. But up first, though, we head out to the OHL's Midwest Division and spend a day in the life of the storied Kitchener Rangers.
The Kitchener Rangers are one of the oldest and most respected organizations in the Ontario Hockey League. It is a franchise that is rich in history, one that includes 2 Memorial Cup championships, along with an alumni boasting some of the greatest hockey players ever to play the game. When looking inside the club's present-day locker room, its fans find a team ripe with blossoming stars and the potential to challenge the Ontario Hockey League's elite next season. It's a team led by the son of one of the NHL's legendary blue liners, a prolific GTHL scoring machine who could light the league's lamps for years to come, and a Swedish import hoping to follow in the footsteps of former Rangers captain Gabriel Landeskog. But most importantly, it's a team that is connected by one goal: to bring the glory of a league championship back to Kitchener for the first time since 2008. The future of the Kitchener Rangers begins here, about a 10-minute drive from the arena, where 16-year-old Connor Bunneman lives with his billets. The Guelph native was an early OHL priority selection in 2014, and his big frame projects him into a powerful forward over the next couple seasons.
I'm just a dump and chase, gritty kind of guy. Just try to go hard to the net, get pucks deep. Grew up in Guelph, so watch the Storm all the time, and as a little kid, I always wanted to do that, want to be one of those guys. So coming to the O, it's dream come true, and drafting the NHL is an even bigger dream, so it'd be an honor to do that.
Although away from home, his billets help him adjust to life in Kitchener.
He fit right in. It was a real neat time. We met him for the first time at a dinner, and it just clicked. It was kind of neat, and throughout the year, they have their plan, they have their schedule. So you just have to go along with the schedule, and you're here for them when they come back, and support him when he needs it, and celebrate whenever possible. So it's been a great experience.
At the arena, players begin to arrive for morning skate. Gustav Franson is an effective two-way center hailing from across the Atlantic.
I've always been a guy who likes adventures, and I thought that this would be a really good experience, and not only in hockey, a really good life experience. So it's a great opportunity for me to come over here and really develop my game in a lot of ways I couldn't do back home in Sweden. Especially with the faster game and the more physical game, that I made a decision to come over here, and I haven't regretted it a bit.
It seems like there are more Swedish imports playing in the league than ever before.
I would say that it's before Landeskog and a past Landeskog era. And because Landeskog, he wasn't really big back home in Sweden because he left so early. But then all of a sudden everyone saw that he went second in the NHL draft, and everyone was like, where's this guy coming from? And then he told a story about him coming over to the OHL and playing for Kitchener Rangers, and that really gave the OHL and the CHL a lot more popularity in Sweden. Having Gabriel playing here before me is just great, and I got to meet his billets. They are close friends to my billets, and they told me all about it, and I even got the chance to speak to Gabriel before coming over here. So just knowing that he's been here, seeing his name in one of the stalls, that's huge.
The team's captain is Liam Maskant, a tough, hard-working stay-at-home defenseman. This is his final season in the OHL, and he will move to CIS hockey next year, tapping into his CHL scholarship after playing 4 seasons in junior.
You know, I've never been one to, kind of, take school lightly. I kind of, it's something important to me, and I want to be successful wherever it is in life. And if pro works out, that would be, a pretty cool, experience. And but if it doesn't, I have 4 years of, CIS hockey ahead of me that, are sure to bring, just as good experiences as well. And after school, if hockey's done, then, I'll be able to, have my degree in my back pocket. That's something that not a lot of people get to say. That they've played 5 years of, almost professional hockey, and then they also have a degree in their back pocket as well.
As game time approaches, Ryan McInnes arrives. His father is Hockey Hall of Famer and Ranger alum Al McInnes, one of the NHL's all-time greatest defensemen. But when it comes to the ice, their games differ, as Ryan is an offensively talented winger.
I was in St. Louis my whole childhood. I played there with the AAA Blues. My dad coached me for most of my youth hockey. It's cool that he played here. Obviously, he's a D and I'm a forward, so it's pretty hard to compare us. So it's just cool to be in the same organization as he played in.
Growing up in St. Louis while his father played for the Blues gave Ryan an inside look at what it takes to be successful at the game of hockey.
They sacrifice a lot to become a hockey player, and that's what I learned from him. You have to sacrifice everything for this game if you want to play in it one day. So that's probably the biggest thing I learned from him.
Adam Mascarin was the 2nd overall pick in the 2014 OHL Priority Selection Draft. Prior to his first season in the OHL, he was a dominant offensive force in the Greater Toronto Hockey League.
That was a pretty amazing feeling, first of all, on draft day, getting selected to a team with so much history like Kitchener has here. And I just try to hold myself accountable for what I do on the ice. You obviously want to keep producing more and more every year, so I wouldn't say maybe 180 points in a year, but obviously I want to keep getting better every year and keep producing more and helping the boys get farther and farther every year.
With super on-ice vision and magical playmaking skills, Mascarin has what it takes to be a game changer for the Rangers.
This is kind of the next step of, hopefully making it somewhere farther in hockey. But just this is where you get better here. You're on the ice every day. You're playing against the best guys in the age group of 16 to 21. So this is where I wanted to be to better myself as a hockey player. I'm enjoying myself in the Canadian Hockey League. I mean, you get better as a hockey player, but you also get better as a person. I feel I've matured a lot since I've come into the league, and I'm hoping that I'm going to keep maturing by the time I leave the league.
Although the Rangers were ousted by the London Knights in the first round of this year's playoffs, they are a team with tremendous upside going into next season. Being around the Rangers organization, it's easy to get lost in the incredible lore of yesteryear. But next season, this club will enter a new era, one that will establish them as one of the most exciting teams to watch in the OHL. After the break, we'll chat with Aaron Ekblad and a couple other D-men who had incredible junior hockey careers.
Defense is a coveted position in the NHL. Aaron Ekblad is proving that Florida GM Dale Talon made the right decision when selecting him first overall in 2014. Columbus took David Savard in the 4th round in 2009, while James Wisniewski was originally selected by Chicago in the 5th round of the 2002 draft. Amen to the D-men.
He's big, he's strong, he's smart. This guy's still just a youngster. He's a kid in a man's body.
He's only 18 years old.
Oh, to be 18 and a stud!
Florida Panthers defenseman Aaron Ekblad is one of hockey's brightest young stars. Already an all-star, the first overall pick in 2014 is enjoying a remarkable rookie season in the Sunshine State. The teenager is having no issues competing against bigger, older players. In fact, it's something he dealt with just 3 years ago when he was granted exceptional status and joined the Ontario Hockey League at 15. It was a tough decision jumping to Major Junior, but one made with the help of his parents, coaches, and one of the game's legends.
Talked to Bobby Orr, and he thought, go for it, do what you want to do what you think is best for yourself, and just kind of ran with it, and I've loved it ever since, and it really helped me become the person I am today.
Ekblad suited up in 175 games for the Barrie Colts, developing into a dynamic blue-chip prospect. His combination of skills and smarts were on full display in his final season as he scored the league's Defenseman of the Year award. Though he arrived in Barrie at a young age, the Windsor, Ontario native credits some key relationships he established for helping him mature as a player and person.
It's all a growing experience for me in the OHL. Dale Howardchuk, the coach, was great to me. I'll remember him forever as a guy that's one of the pivotal guys that helped me in my career. Had a lot of fun, had great billets. Went to school for all 3 years that I was there, and just really enjoyed myself.
Another budding NHL defenseman with roots in the Canadian Hockey League is the Columbus Blue Jackets' David Savard. Like Ekblad, he scooped up a Defenseman of the Year award while playing with the Moncton Wildcats in 2010. Savard grabbed the honor after leading his team in scoring during the regular season, empowering the Wildcats to the President's Cup as QMJHL champions.
Oh, obviously I think it's great, but I think it comes back to all the group we had. I think we had Moncton Wildcats did a great job with making trades and everybody, working with Danny Flynn, Fabian Joseph. All those guys were awesome to me and putting confidence in me, and I think they just teach me how to play, and it just came out the last season. We had a great group, and I think everybody had a good season.
As a kid in Quebec, Savard was inspired watching the Remparts play. It looked like pro hockey and motivated him to get there one day. He maintained this mindset in Moncton, where the professionalism of the team kept the players focused and determined.
The way Moncton treated us, it looks pretty much the same, and they take a lot of pride in doing that, looking up to NHL teams and everything. And I think all the travels and getting used to that, and all the practices and everything. And I love Moncton. Moncton was my second home after, and I still talk all the time to my billet, and I still have lots of fun out there.
Savard's former teammate James Wisniewski also owns a CHL Defenseman of the Year trophy. Wisniewski earned his in 2004 while playing with the OHL's Plymouth Whalers. He posted 70 points that season and treasures the award even today.
That last year, I played 50 games and we won the World Junior Gold Medal, and it was just a heck of a year for myself and personally. It was obviously a huge honor when they started reading the names off of the guys that won that award. It's pretty special.
Wisniewski is one of a fortunate few that has played junior hockey in his hometown. Growing up just a few miles from the Whalers Arena, he even captained the team in his final season. Along with developing his game, Wisniewski will never forget the familiar faces he got to play in front of.
I felt like it was a faster route, kind of more my style to go play, and so I had a great time there. I tell you what, they had to make a new rule about how many tickets I could give out. I was giving out like 30 tickets a game, so I almost had my own cheering section, so it was really fun to have my family come and friends come watch me play.
Remember when Adam Dennis backstopped the London Knights to the 2005 MasterCard Memorial Cup? We'll chat with him about his playing days after this break.
Adam Dennis played goal for one of the best CHL teams ever assembled. The 2005 London Knights set a multitude of records en route to a CHL title. Dennis, a 14th round pick in the 2001 OHL priority selection, now spends his working days encouraging others to follow his OHL path to success.
He's the Director of Player Recruitment for the Ontario Hockey League. However, most might remember him as the winning goalie for the 2005 MasterCard Memorial Cup champion London Knights. This is Adam Dennis. A native of Toronto, Dennis began chasing his pro hockey dream after being selected in the 2002 OHL draft by the Guelph Storm.
For me, going to Guelph, it gave me that identity. I knew I was part of something. I knew I was part of something special. It was a 14th round draft pick. Having said that, I had a brotherhood that was going to last a lifetime, and some of my closest friends have come from that time. It was some incredible memories that I can take from it. I ended up playing 8 years professionally, and I can remember my OHL years the most vividly.
A mid-season trade in 2005 sent Dennis to London, where he helped a formidable night squad win an OHL title and then the MasterCard Memorial Cup.
For Guelph to give myself and Dan Girardi that opportunity to go to a team that was hosting the Memorial Cup was pretty big of them as well. Both Dan and I weren't drafted at the time. Obviously for Dan it worked out, he got a contract with the Rangers, and I got drafted with the Buffalo Sabres. But going into London, we had played some heated games before, so there were some initial apologies for some things that were said on the ice, but after that we were all focused on the goal, which was winning the Memorial Cup.
Dennis closed out his OHL career a year later after posting a 44-9 record and winning the league's Goaltender of the Year award. From there, he went on to play 8 years of pro hockey with stops in the AHL, Italy, and Austria. He also backstopped Team Italy at the 2014 Winter Olympic qualification. Amazingly, he did all this while earning a university degree.
The best chance of the day for the Crosby line.
I always knew that my school was a top priority, and it's something that I like to tell all the kids that I speak to, is that no matter who you are, there's always going to be an after hockey.
Though Dennis's playing days are now over, his junior career still provides some vivid memories. He admits a definite highlight was the London Knights shutting down Sidney, Crosby, and the Rimouski Oceanic in one of the most memorable MasterCard Memorial Cup finals of all time.
Pouliot thought about steering it in, steers it to Crosby. Crosby kind of cut in front, is upended.
There's a lot of emotions that go into a playoff series, and then 4 rounds of it, and then to come out of that, it's, you're celebrating already, and then you go into another tournament, and I think that's where I was able to benefit a bit from experiencing it the year before. Going into it for the second time, I wasn't focused on winning the OHL. It was the Memorial Cup was the goal, and when it all came to fruition, and I mean, I don't think I was fully kind of accepting of it until about 5 seconds left in a 4-0 game. And there's just so many emotions that go through your head. London was great. They had our families in the room, and it really, it takes an army. And not only are your teammates a big part of it, but your families, the ones who have been driving you to the rinks since you were a kid, the ones who have been giving up their nights, their weekends to make it all happen. And I think it's a pretty special thing, and to have them celebrate that moment with me, it's something that I'll never forget.
When we return, we'll revisit last year's MasterCard Memorial Cup between the Guelph Storm and the Edmonton Oil Kings.
The Guelph Storm obliterated OHL competition, averaging 5 goals per game en route to winning the J. Ross Robertson Cup. As expected, the Storm was the favorite heading into the 2014 MasterCard Memorial Cup championship game, but Henrik Samuelsson and the Edmonton Oil Kings had other plans.
The Guelph Storm, the Ontario Hockey League champs, have averaged 5 goals per game. The Edmonton Oil Kings have been stingy defensively, the top defensive team 2 years in a row. Tyson Mayo, 17-year-old defenseman, turns it over at center. It's a 3-on-2. Mitchell to Fabry, over to Weichel, back in front, open net, Fabry scores! "17 seconds to go in this 2-man advantage for Edmonton. Corbett over to Reinhart. Edmonton hasn't had a shot. Pollock back to Reinhart. Samuelsson, Corbett scores! On the power play, it's tied. Rojanovic over to Lashley. Stephen Pirog moves it ahead to Pius Suter. Hit alone, saved by Jari. Rebound, they score. Pirog following up, makes it 2-1 Guelph. Steal right there, and it's Tyler Robertson with the goal for Edmonton. It's tied at 2.
Look at this puck bounce around, but give Robertson credit. He was puck focused, he went down, he saw it, and he released it quickly, and that's what enabled him to score.
Oil Kings 1 for 2 on the power play in this game. Samuelsson works his way in over the line. Horvat and Reinhart were tied up. They're back in the play. Schottner, Nakalda, he scores on the power play. Edmonton's ahead. Eller gets knocked down. Bertolucci still on it. Another hard-working shift from Luke Bertolucci. That's all he can do to tie up Bertolucci for a moment. Now Samuelsson doing his thing. Orban will send it back down low. Let Bertolucci do some more work. Eller gets it in front. That doesn't connect with Samuelsson. Horvat, he can't get much done with Samuelsson closing. Ebert will have an opportunity now. Oil Kings are tired. Ebert slowly moves it ahead. Couldn't get it inside the Edmonton zone. Calda streaks in. Mitch Miraz gets a shot and scores! Edmonton leads by 2. Guelph trying to keep this pressure on. A redirect in front. That narrowly missed. Brock McGinn. He's all over the puck right now. Falling down is Mayo. Trying to delay as long as he can. Somebody pop open. It's Samuelsson. Now the stick of Jari caused Corbett to turn the puck over. Pass comes back to the line, and Finn kept it in just barely. Another chance for McGinn to center, and he couldn't get it past Mayo. It's Miraz. Gets it to the line. Mitchell holds the line. Guelph has Edmonton on their heels. Jari still without a stick. Ebert snaps one, redirected. Mitchell got a stick on it. Samuelsson trying to hold it against the boards. Mayo has Sabry pinned. It pops loose. Fresh off the bench is Reichel. They score! Mitchell! Shots are 8-1 this period in favor of the Guelph Storm. So they have peppered Jari in the first stretch of the third. We're not even 5 minutes into it.
This is the area in the game where you look at all the minutes that Edmonton has had to play to get to this point. Maybe that stuff is starting to settle in.
Chance here though. Edgar's Calda has Samuelsson going to the net, and he scores! Samuelsson regains the 2-goal lead for the Oil Kings. And now one of the most difficult trophies to win in sports belongs to the Edmonton Oil Kings, Memorial Cup champions.
I'm Sam Cosentino. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on This is the CHL.